Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Thursday, the 26th of February, comes to you from London. And Nvidia is the big story last night, out with stellar results, but will it be enough? That's the big question. This is my LSEG workspace screen. If you're using Metastock, you will be Zenith. You will see pretty much the same screen because they're very much the same system. So I'm using LSEG here, but in Updater, of course, you can run Updater on either workspace or on the Metastock Zenith system, which are essentially the same. So looking at what's going on, and in fact, there's just a plethora of information there when you look at that screen. And I'm always very focused on the chart, of course, but there was lots of news coming in live last night. I did actually stay up and listen to the earnings call, and I have to admit, at one point I was just completely blinded by science, and I was watching the after hours chart, and they jumped on the results, and then we just sort of fell away, and that was really quite insightful seeing that. And I think this is the key thing. And even on the Trading View, on the 5-minute chart, there was an upside target, and then that gave another upside target. So we had a couple of upside targets yesterday on the 5-minute chart. Then we made a lower high and then a lower low at the close. Just really was a bit of a dampener there on the real-time chart. Of course, you can draw these targets on Updater or Bloomberg. And in fact, here they are on my Bloomberg. I'm running Bloomberg as well. So we had a target last week given at 185 or 186 to 198. We got to 197.60 yesterday before the close. So we're up looking at the aftermarket now. This was very interesting, the way we just sort of fell away. And of course, everyone's saying buy Nvidia, but the chart, the high point was still October, and so that is really quite interesting when you come to it. So looking at where we are now, we did have an upside target activated to 231, which would be a new high. We did run a poll on LinkedIn, and if you're not following me on LinkedIn, where 80% of people said that Nvidia would not go lower than 170. So there's a lot of confidence that this is a low. But interestingly, 40% felt we'd go sideways and 40% felt we'd make a new high. So there's a lot of split opinion about the chart. Now, looking at the 60-minute, this is going to be fascinating to watch today. We've got upside targets, but the interesting thing is there's just a slight air of disappointment, and that's going to be really very interesting to see how that plays out. And it's how Nvidia now reacts to the news that's going to be key. And of course, you could be watching this on 1-minute charts if you wanted to really track it closely. Now, just looking at a few other things, Bitcoin, we're seeing here a lot of talk that there's this selling that's been happening at 10 a.m. is not happening anymore. Well, the reality is, the trend is still down on that medium-term chart. We've just activated another downside target. Trend is truth. That is the reality. Now, the Nasdaq, we're waiting also to see if we break higher here. We are in this really tight range at the moment. And again, running polls on LinkedIn, most people believe the Nasdaq will go higher this quarter. But interestingly, if we go lower, we activate a downside target. And again, the 10-minute chart gives us a little clue that right now we're going back to the top of the range. We had this target giving us to the bottom of the range, and now we're going to target back to the top of the range. So that is the advantage of being able to look at the charts. Now, the futures in the US are up 0.01%, so we are very, very flat there. And we're seeing in the UK, FTSE made another new all-time high yesterday. So that's still looking very, very strong, marching all the way to the target. On the short-term chart, those targets now met. They were given back at the start of the month, so you really can't ignore those targets. Gold is up slightly this morning. Silver is down down 2%. So we are just seeing gold is stuck in this range of 5,100, 5,250. And looking at the tech stocks, pretty much all of them were up yesterday. It's really interesting that Microsoft has really been the poor performer, and does raise a sort of question in my mind, this OpenAI you know, exposure that Microsoft has and potentially Nvidia has. Is that a thing? We looked at energy for our clients this morning. We're seeing broadly lower. Carbon is really falling lower. In fact, again, I look at that on my Bloomberg. You can see here we have mixed targets. We went neutral on carbon today because we had those mixed targets. If we break that, we're below that 70 level again, which is not good news. And if we break 68, then that is also not good news. So then coming back to Updata, looking at one of the things that I've been doing quite a lot lately. We had a client who wants to do this technical analysis scoring, and basically what I've done here, I'm actually working on a paper in the US at the moment, and if you basically have long-term, weekly, medium-term, daily, and short-term charts, 60-minute, you can effectively score the weekly 3, the daily 2, and the short-term 1, and then effectively give a score. There are 27 possibilities with that, and then you can rank them in a screen. And so I've been doing this more and more, and all I have to do is click on the top of the column, and it puts the 6s at the top. We did have -6 from Microsoft, but that jumped yesterday to just above on the neutral, because we're in the cloud, so that gets a 0 point rather than a -1. But really interesting which stocks are bullish, 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 and Nvidia is there. It's bullish on all 3 time frames, so that's really key. And you can do this for any chart. Cisco, another very interesting example. Cisco were the picks and shovels in the .com era. In a way, Nvidia is now considered to be the picks and shovels in the AI era. But Cisco is 5. It's neutral on that 60-minute chart in the cloud, but we are bullish on the weekly and the daily. So this scoring, and it's really great when you come to do big lists. So we can look here at the UK market, and here we see Hiscox is bullish, bullish, bullish. That's the long-term, medium-term, and short-term chart. So really, really powerful as well. And again, I can just rank. This is a feature that's coming soon in Updata, so it's going to be really, really powerful for users there. And last of all, of course, you can run Updata on any data source. I'm running on lots of different data sources, so I could literally pull up my Nvidia screen stock here, press the T key, it will put all the trends and targets on. You can do this in Bloomberg or you can do it in Updata, but remember, we do run on multiple data services. So whatever you're running, you can just click those services in for whatever you're subscribed to. So really powerful. There's some great end of day services for doing large scans of large universes. You can scan for stocks that have got multiple targets greater than X%, etc. So it's a really powerful way. But coming back to the market, the key thing is it's all eyes on Nvidia today. That's going to be the key thing. What's going to happen on that 60-minute chart? We'll be watching with interest. Can we hold this 195 level? More importantly, the psychologically 2 level. And then, of course, getting above the 210, 212 was the previous high set in October. Can we get back above that level, or will we fail? Even though the news is great, the chart is not making new highs, and we saw how that jump yesterday was unwound pretty quickly. So the market expects huge things, and was it, we expected to be surprised to the upside. Was it a big enough surprise? We shall see. It will all become clear over the coming days. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting. Bye for now.